details and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer.
Blitz is on. Taylor picks it up. Fires. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Canadian Football League Grey Cup champion.
Taylor again, wide open.
And first-team All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
5 for Steve Taylor. That is a new Nebraska record.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, former All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
It is not Wednesday. Do not check your calendar. Well, you might want to check your calendar if you don't know what day it is, because it is New Year's Eve. So we got a special episode of Weekly Wrap Sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor, ready to roll. I am Jake Buckoven. He is the All-American quarterback, Steve Taylor. And we've got a special guest.
Yes.
The boss man, DP, in studio as well. So let's get this thing rolling. Of course, plenty to talk about. Nebraska coming off their bowl win in New York.
You asked me what I thought about it, or
well,
what are you saying there? You kind of like
certainly.
just left it out there hanging, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Well, certainly. That's what the people
right
came to the show for. We want to know what Steve's initial thoughts were for the bowl victory, a winning season, and all that went into the bowl trip to New York.
You know, here's the deal. I was talking with Kenny Willite the other day, celebrating his engagement, right?
Congratulations.
And congratulations to number 19.
Right.
Kenny Willite. He's going to go down that road again, and I wish him all the best. But I say that sincerely, right? I really do. But anyway, so we were talking about all the bowl games, and then also this 105-man roster, and dissecting all that stuff. But in the end, I said earlier this year, it was a bumpy year, but it ended on a really, really good note. We were 7-6. They made a bowl game. They won a bowl game against a legitimate school. I think we got a great draw. Rule has tweaked the staff for the better. So going to 2025, there are a lot of encouraging things about this football team now. And I looked, and we talked about the schedule last week. I think it's not out of bounds to say that we can have, quote, type of an Indiana type of year when we went over that schedule. Now, I don't want the ending, that they had, but I think it sets up for a very, very good season, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. You got a young quarterback, I think, that has some talent. He has some things to work on, but you're going to have a 4-year starter, a guy that can win some football games in the future with his capabilities. So things are looking good for the Huskers. It's going to take some time, but I think they can make a statement next year, and hopefully they, like I say, they finish off better than the Hoosiers. But everything's there. So I was happy for the kids. I mean, I'm of a different age with how these kids celebrate and what they do. But to look at it, if you put it on paper, they made a bowl game. They won a bowl game. They finished over 500. They have some confidence going into next year. So in that regard, it was a successful year. Wasn't quite the leap or jump that I was hoping they would have, but it was a good one. And so I feel good about it. And it was a good, hard football game. It was a dirty game. Jerseys were green and muddy, and the conditions were okay, and guys were playing. So it was a good experience. I wish I could have been in New York.
Well, I mean,
but
I'll ask you, QB.
Yeah.
QB. Couple of things that in year one, your freshman year at Nebraska, the amount of pressure and exposure that were put on your shoulders, it's different for Dylan Raiola.
Yes, everything's different,
right?
Everything's
Let's go through some of that because
everything's different.
I think that it's important to say that before we put 104, the weight of 104 players and 8 years of not exceptional Husker football on the shoulders of a freshman quarterback, that we need to be careful about what we're putting on him. You can speak to quarterbacks at Nebraska and the pressure, all the perks, right? Tons of perks.
Mm-hmm.
But the pressure, even in the time you went through it when there was no social media. Can you imagine going through your freshman year or your first year as a starter with social media?
Yeah.
With everybody having an opinion on Steve Taylor, on right? Like to have people who can't do what you were able to do having a say-so about Steve Taylor and speaking from absolute knowledge of Steve Taylor as a first-year quarterback. We're asking a lot. We're doing too much. Fair?
Yeah, I agree. And this is why, and Keenan and I had this discussion. It got pretty heated, right? Because things are different now. I mean, and so we, former players, our generation, we kind of have to adapt and be careful and mindful about what we say, right? Because it is different. There's some good things and some bad things. And to get to your point, you need a team. You need guys behind you, and that's what Rule is trying to do to get the best roster that he can get to give these kids a chance to be successful. And it's interesting because of social media, there's good and there's bad about it. But on the flip side of it, and it's evident, these kids now are so far in advance than what we were during our time. I mean, and the proof is in the pudding. I mean, these kids can have an impact early on in their career as freshmen. And we had this debate because I said, Kenny, Nebraska has done things this state. And this is what I said, the state needs to get out of this box. Nebraska has always done things differently than college football. I said, think about this for a minute. How many teams back in the day, in the 80s, had a legitimate freshman team? Legitimate freshman team. Not many. Nebraska was probably one of maybe five. I mean, maybe five, maybe. We didn't play any Power 5 or Division I schools that had a freshman team. They were all junior college teams, right? So that philosophy was, because we were talking about development of players and how this is going to affect the roster. I said, so Nebraska's still tied up into this walk-on type mentality. And I said, that's gone. And for the most part, Nebraska was the only institution that had a program like that, where they really developed players. So really, the development of players have really just gone aside. You don't really develop players anymore. And that's evident in the NFL. I mean, you have these first-year quarterbacks that are coming in and having almost MVP type seasons. I mean, legitimately, they're playing the full schedule. They're staying healthy. They're adapting to the game speed. They're knowledgeable. I mean, what they're doing is amazing, and it's because they're so far in advance in college when they get there from high school to college. And so making that jump from college to pro is not as big as we once believed it to be. And look what Raiola has done this year. He set some pretty great numbers as a freshman. I didn't feel comfortable really until my junior year. My sophomore year was like my freshman, would have been like Raiola's freshman year, right? Because I played in 4 freshman games. I mopped up the last 1 or 2 minutes of every game once they moved me up to varsity, which was probably on an average between 5 to 6 to 7 snaps. I got the most snaps against Oklahoma when I came in late in the fourth quarter, right? And then in the Fiesta Bowl against Michigan, I came in early in the fourth quarter. Coach Osborne always said I should have put you in there sooner, but that game was so fast and what was going on, I was not prepared, right? I was about as green as you can get. I didn't have a spring ball under my belt, right? And so when I went to spring football going as a sophomore, I was still learning. And I was still not getting all the snaps because I was competing for the number one job with the other two quarterbacks, Blakeman and McCaffrey and Clayton. But I obviously I won the job. And so my sophomore year was like my freshman year. I was learning and everything. It wasn't until my junior year I felt like I've seen everything.
So if you had to measure Dylan Raiola going into 2025 spring game, what is going to be the thing? So from now to March, what is going on with Raiola? His body's going to change.
That's I'm glad you said that because this is why I like what Coach Rule is doing. It's interesting. I don't know if I listened to the game. You were at the game. And some commentators had said they had a conversation with Raiola, and they had asked him what he thinks he needs to work on, and he mentioned speed, right? Which is you really can't work on speed, right? I mean,
yeah, it really is a thing. I think, I wish they had just corrected him and said quickness.
Exactly, agility. You're 100%.
Right.
And then they asked the offensive coordinator, and he said his body. He said his body. So, and this is like I said, I'm very mindful of what I'm saying here. If I'm Raiola, I'm getting as best physical shape that I can be, and they got all the resources there, body fat, trim up. Now there's only so much we can do, right? There's only so much we can do, but in the end, that's gonna help his agility, his elusiveness, his durability. He would benefit way more from that. That's what he needs to concentrate on, because the other stuff is gonna happen.
How much better is it for Dylan Raiola now to quarterbacks in the 80s and 90s, because the digital aspect allows him to study film, and he has simulators that he can work from. There's a ton. It's a different world.
It's a different. I hear these guys, which we didn't do, and like I say, I tell people now, if I was going to college today, my focus would be, truthfully, 80% football. School would take a backseat. It would take a backseat. So I would be in there.
If you have that pro aspiration.
Yes, that's not even a question. And I'm fairly confident that most of these guys, that's what they're thinking. Especially the ones that think they have that type of ability, which unfortunately, all of them think they do.
And
majority of them think they do.
I want to point that out, right? And this is why I wanted to be in on the conversation,
absolutely.
because I think
love this talk.
I think we can be able to do this. That the number of quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, who have a legitimate shot at the NFL, a legitimate shot. I'm not talking about the Brock Purdy. Purdy had resources that we weren't even aware of, right? He had people who could get him in the pro game, and he was going to get a look. But imagine Tom Brady almost missing the bus and being a part of it. And then add to that the transfer portal, where if you think you're a pro and you're not getting the run that where you are, that it'll be a constant reshuffling of the deck, the musical chairs that go on with quarterback play, because there's one quarterback that plays.
Yeah. See, that I'm glad you brought that up, because this is when we're talking about, you have to get into the mindset of where college football is today. Mm-hmm. It is almost as pro as you can get. And the NC2A, or they're getting closer and closer and closer to getting it right. To getting it where to getting it right. With the portal, which is free agency. With the NIL contracts that are now going to be longer term than just the 1 year. With kids that's testing the free agent market, which is the portal, and not getting picked up, right? So there's pros and cons about that. So you have to take all those factors in consideration. And I'm excited for it. And see, another flip side of that, so not only do you think you have professional aspirations, right? So you're going to focus the 4-star or the 5-star. Automatically, they think they're going to play in the league, right? So now you're going to have your 2 and 3 stars, right? They're going to say, I have a window here that I can make some serious NIL money. What's my value to the team, right? So would you not focus on that, where you can set yourself up pretty good out of college? And, with a healthy income.
This is
I mean,
so
now
multi-layered, Steve. This
It's
is
layered. Yeah.
This is layered because here's the thing. And as a high school coach, I used to have these discussions with the players, the parents, the administrators, and then with the college coaches that were coming to recruit my guys. And then being a pro reporter, you were getting more information and otherwise. And the next segment will be interesting because I'll set the table because I really want to.
Yeah.
But imagine that you're having to identify who you are and what the game means to you at a much earlier age now, because it's okay. Am I going for education? Right? Because that's the more consistent way to improve my life going forward.
100%.
Or am I taking, if I am without resource, am I taking advantage of this to better my current situation, which people have to do. If your mom's electric bill is being shut off every other month and you have a chance to change that through your athletic ability and your academic resources, that's what you do. That's why, some farmer folks, when you go to college and pick it, you have to get better at agricultural and the future of this thing for family's sake. Then you have to say the professional side. Everybody, and here's what I want to lead you with. Imagine that transfer portal and NIL makes everybody better.
Yes.
What if, right? Contrary to the common thinking that this is ruining everything. What if this is going to make the coaches better, the parents more aware, the players more honest, the agents have to be more available, and then the legends will be heard more because they have experience.
And then to go one step further, it's going to help all your lower tier schools, right? The Kearney, the Nebraska Wesleyan. I mean, whatever, smaller schools that these players now will go to and play because you have a 105-man roster.
Boy,
right?
the
so you're
numbers.
Where are those other 50 or 60 players going to go?
Those numbers, bruh.
Those overall quality of those institutions will be better.
Amen.
So I think it's a great thing. It's way, way long overdue. Now, it's an adjustment. They're going to get it right. I was thinking to myself, back in the day, they would have had to vote who would be the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
Is it Oregon? Who is it? Now we know who the number one team is going to be. It's going to be the team that wins out.
We're going
right?
to find out.
There's no question about it. So that's the beauty of it. And I'm excited for it.
Let's go to break,
and it's a win-win.
Let's go to break.
And
let's go.
And I was listening to.
It's gonna cut you off.
You go right here. You jump in here. Mark, go do your thing.
All right, you're listening to Weekly Rap Sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor. We'll be back with plenty more to say on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on Weekly Rap Sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor. DP dropping in, talking some modern-day changes in college football and what that means for the Huskers.
I like it. It's real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. And we talk about, and we talked about this a little bit on previous shows. And Ken and I had this huge debate. And I was really surprised at Kenny that he couldn't, he's still operating off that old manual. And Kenny played professional football in the CFL. I was like, come on, man. You need to understand that. And he didn't. I said, think about it this way. Let's just use the NFL. They have 50 or so on the
53 on the active roster.
Now in the CFL, we have 5 reserves, 3 on IR, 3 on reserves, so you can hide players. So NFL has maybe I think they have 15
and Canadian players.
Canadian players, but you can hide players, right? And my point is, you have 50 on the roster. Your quote walk-on players or developmental players are going to be on what you call the practice roster. Mm-hmm. So how many players are on the, and we talked about this, on the practice roster? 15, 20, 30 or something like that. They're still in the 80s or so, right? You're going to have 105, which is a lot of bodies, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to have maybe 3 to 4 in your quarterback room. Your starter, that's at the most. And I said, look at your starters now. The first-string quarterback plays almost 100% of the game unless it's a blowout or their injury. He gets 90 to 95% of the snaps throughout the week. And this is I'm not just singling out quarterbacks. This is every position.
Yeah.
Your starter is going to get the bulk of those reps. And spring football is not like what it used to be, right? Where you're trying to kill each other. You know who your players are. You have an investment now with these NIL packages. So you're going to watch, and they don't practice near as hard as they used to. They have limited days that they can scrimmage, limited days of being in full gear. I mean, the structure has totally changed. So like you say, off air, you can actually coach these players. They can get reps. They can get better. You don't need a lot of numbers. I don't want to say wasted bodies out there just banging people up, which is what only Nebraska used to do. We used to have 4 stations going on at a practice, So what you think about it is really kind of, at that time, it was incredible. What the system that they have, Nebraska, it worked for them. That's how they built their program. It worked, but that's no longer the operating manual now to be successful in collegiate sports.
Remember that in that era, tuition was minimal, often close to free.
Oh.
When I was in college, 1984.
Yeah.
Tuition, in-state tuition, was $1,000 for the whole year. $1,000. Now, I would say that it's pretty much the same education, but hey, man, make your money.
Yeah.
Now, if you're having walk-ons and the cost of it to you is $50,000 for the year,
great point.
Entirely different than it being $5 million for equipment, mentoring, study hall, meals, etc., time management, film study, access to coding, digital trade, all those
and
things.
We haven't even talked about the business side of it. You're 100% correct. Because I used to, Coach Darlington used to come to me and say, hey, I need your driver's license. Because they wanted to change my scholarship to an in-state scholarship.
Yep.
I was like, what are you?
You got to go down to DMV and put in a new address.
I wasn't thinking about it right at the time, but they were saving costs. They had a lot of
Pell
bodies.
Grant, the wonderful Pell Grant,
yes,
which literally was a lifesaver. A lifesaver. I mean, listen, I tell the story that even as a scholarship athlete in 1980, and the school paying tuition, room and board, and then you ate what every other student ate in the lunchroom, which was fine, but it was free, but still. But they weren't putting in the physical work, the stressful athletic work that I was putting in. And I lived in full. And I say thank you to my grandmother and my mother, because we were poor. And they would send a $20 money order every 2 weeks. And when that mail showed up at my dorm, oh, you don't understand. The sun came out, birds start chirping, right? And this was $20. Yeah. And sometimes they didn't have enough to spend the 75 cents on the money order. Yeah. So they would just wrap the $20 bill up and hope that it got there. Right? And so we forget that it evolves and it changes, and for the better of the young people. And again, I had the same responsibility as the student who didn't play ball 30, 40 hours a week. I had the same responsibility as the rich baseball player that was on my team who could eat better and sleep better and rest better because he had no stresses. We forget that about these young people, and it will help the athletic department manage with a very simple plan for 105 football players.
And on another thing to that too is the humanitarian side of it. One thing I liked about playing, and I couldn't believe the numbers when I played professional in Canada, when I went there, and I mean, when you see the bodies, it's like I couldn't believe the bodies, right? It's just, I was used to a lot of people in the locker room and stuff. I mean, that was eye-opening in itself. But I noticed over the last 5 to 10 years, I felt sad because I would attend Husker events and come back, and guys would come up and talk to me, and I literally had no idea who they were. None, right? And I started thinking, they all knew me. I was Steve Taylor. I was the quarterback. Yeah, right, whatever, right? But I had no clue who Steph. My wife would say, "Who is that?" I was like, "I have no clue." He said, "Why play?" I said, I have no clue." I said, "If you were not on the first or second team, I didn't really know you because that's who I practiced with, right? And scout team, I literally didn't pay attention to guys on the scout team. I mean, you're focused on what we're doing, right? They were just bodies out there doing whatever. Now, when I went pro or whatever in Canada, I knew that guy that was on the scout team because he was second or third guy.
And you saw him
right
every day.
You saw him every day. The numbers, so you knew, and you have this bond and camaraderie. And I thought about this again when we toured the facilities about a month ago. We got a private tour, all the former players, and the locker room was massive. I'm like, I thought I was in the airport or something. I'm like, it was clear over there. I was like, how would you know the guy? 200 something lockers, you just wouldn't. Anyway, so it's changed, and I think it's evolved. I don't even want to say change. It's evolved, and it's something I think.
And you would be a better teammate and leader now.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yes.
That you would become better.
Yes.
With 105 players. And again, you're talking about that the numbers, and if you use the NFL prototype for numbers, NFL with 53 on the active roster, 15 or so on the practice squad or the reserve, and however you use that. So 70 is a number, but the real number is 50. If you said a specialist, punter, kicker, kick returner as a specialist, if you have a kick returner that comes from your masses of numbers, then you can add another quarterback or a position of need, depending on what you run. If you run 3-4, you might need an extra linebacker. Whatever it is you're going to do, you do. But imagine this, that the NFL has gotten profound at identifying talent and moving if there is not success with that talent. They cannot afford to carry additional weight of unproductive players. And it makes coaches better if you know, wait a minute. Like I coached at a big high school, and we would have 70 kids come out for 12 basketball spots. I can't miss. Like I can't miss. So you go through, all right, easy one to pick, the best player. Easy pick. The biggest, easy pick. Fastest, easy pick. The most complete, cool. Highest IQ, great. Like we can check off boxes. But then you have to get into, hey, wait a minute. If you're Nebraska, you have to think, what about Wisconsin in late November? Do I have a meat grader that I can lean on? Do I have a backup quarterback that runs our system at the same level and can push our best guy?
Exactly, yeah.
And then I need a third quarterback who, quite frankly, is a specialist.
Yes.
He may be the best thrower. He may be the best runner. He may be the total opposite of my two best quarterbacks. Right? Because, hey, man, we're watching Michigan and Alabama in a bowl game, a meaningful bowl game, and it's a torrential downpour. Well, guess what? All that shotgun stuff is out the window, and you got to figure out how to win a game, and you better have somebody when you look down the bench who can go get it done for you. That's what's going to happen with college football.
No, I think it's great. And if you look at the end, I refer to NFL or anyone. Think about this. They went from 12 rounds to 6 rounds, and they've been just fine. Think about that. They used to have 12 rounds back in the day. And
they
now,
had more than that.
That's before my
they
time. You would know.
I'm old enough to remember. They went in the draft for a minute.
And now it's and now it's simple. I say that because when I talked to Kenny, he was like, "Well, what about these players?" I'm like, you know what? We were fortunate enough that we were Division I players, and we were 3, 4, 5-star players. We were fortunate enough. I said, not everyone can be a financial advisor. Not everyone can go to medical school, right? Not everyone can go to a Ivy League school, right? That's the real world.
That's so good.
That's the real world. I mean, so you have to look at it I look at it from that aspect. Now I was fortunate enough to be at the top tier. I remember being in the locker room with Coach Oz when he's on the board saying only 1 or 2%, 1% is going to play professional sports. We had 200 something bodies in there, but I thought I was in that 1%. That's the way I thought. Like I'm in that 1%, but there's a lot of players that were way down there
We'll put a pin
Go
there.
ahead.
That's the perfect spot.
Yeah.
We'll put a pin there. Steve, we'll go to break. Man,
Go to break.
this hour's gonna fly through, bro.
It's gone.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
and electrical.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, but it will be breezy. We'll see a high around 32. Tonight, a chance of 4 rays, otherwise partly cloudy with light winds, a low near 22. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up.
Hold up, the new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here with weekly rap sessions, a final session here for the year. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody out there. DP in studio alongside Steve Taylor and Rob Brown.
We got an old timer in the house.
Rob Brown getting a cup of
in the
coffee
house.
over there.
Yeah.
Good to see him. You guys are having a good conversation. Let's keep it rolling.
I'm a believer and things happen for a reason. And I was listening to the ticket today and I got the email from Rico and my show's on Wednesday. So I thought, I was like, well, I got Wednesday off, right? So I'm listening to the ticket and I hear Bach and the Hall of Famer, Black Show on the radio. So I was like, I'm kind of like almost like semi-retired. I'm in this kind of semi-retired mode. I just build these houses now and everything. So I kind of lose track of the days, what today is for the most part. Now I keep track by it's Taco Tuesday.
Right.
Wednesday wings, that kind of stuff. So I called, say, Bach, do we have a show today? And of course he replied. So I'm glad to go out this way. It's been a great year. It's been a fun year. This is my second season on the show. I'm glad that you finally, you sold me on it. Didn't take much, but you brought me back in because I've been doing this for so many years. And I enjoy this hour. It's fun. I love talking football and all the shows are different. And so I'm looking forward to 2025. It's been fun. My man Bach has been great. I think we get along and our show is, we talk about many, many different things on our show. I like to have I call it real talk.
I've made a point this week to stop on each show and just show gratitude and appreciation. Because this isn't, contrary to popular belief, this is not easy to come in and share yourself on a regular basis. One, to be accountable for your words and thoughts. There's a powerful maturity that is required to do, and to watch you evolve in it. Because a big part of a lot of the high-level student athletes and professional athletes is that ego not only moves them, but it drives them. When you can manage that ego and say, listen, I'm going to have conversations that aren't about me. I'm going to have conversations that are for the people who are listening. And you're either entertaining, as I said, you're either performing or informing. And to watch you evolve over the time of it and watch you and Bach work together and get on the same page.
Yes.
Listen, I'm grateful. You were a target of mine from the moment I said we were going to do this. That Steve Taylor has lots to add. He has lots to share. Great resource, great storyteller. And quite frankly, not many people have your story. Not many people have, listen, the baseball acumen, the California acumen, right? The Canadian football, like Nebraska at its highest level, All-American status because All-American work was done. And I think a part of when Bach says, well, Steve said he can come in and do his show today and since we're not here tomorrow. Part of me was like, no, we'd already planned, but I'm like, nope. For us to have this conversation this hour was good for me too.
Oh,
I love picking your brain.
I love it when you pop in. And you should pop in anytime. Because I like those conversations.
Well, they hear me all week.
I know, but still, I like, it's just.
They hear me all week.
I know.
I don't want to have to force them on that, but I'm grateful. I'm appreciative of you and Stephanie.
Well, what you've done with the ticket, trust me, is the reason why I'm here, right? I was involved with other shows.
It's
And
what
I've
we
been
did.
approached by other shows.
It's what
but-
we did.
Yeah.
It's what
Yeah,
we
no,
did.
but
Like,
no,
listen.
I know you have to give credit when credit is due. And that's what I'm all about that. And I don't blow smoke up someone's butt. But what you've done with the ticket, and I used to listen to you before, and my wife and I was like, who's that guy? Who's that dude? Who's that guy? But no, what you've done here is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And it should be acknowledged.
I'm pretty good at evaluating people, and for picking the right team.
Yeah. That's what great leaders do.
Right.
Not only they lead, but they surround themselves with great people.
Picking the right, leaders as good as the soldiers who do the march. And, I've had this conversation with Bach, and I've said it publicly as many times as I can say it. I'm grateful for Bach and Nick and Rico and Austin and Harrison, who come through and make us and try to make this thing smooth.
Yes.
And keeps the level, and they keep elevating the level of professionalism. They keep elevating the standard. They allow us to come in and do what we do, and then they keep it on time and on purpose and keeping the standard met. And the listeners who, quite frankly, none of this matters without the text line and the listeners who we had several people come this morning and just offer fist bumps because that's just part of the messaging. They feel like part of the family.
I'm so glad you use that simple word standard, right? Because I want to make sure I hold my own against other shows and make sure that we're carrying our weight and adding to it, right? No difference when I was playing for the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I wanted to make sure I did what I needed to do and keep that standard going and then go above and beyond it.
Yep.
Make sure I pull my weight and bring others along with me, right?
Man.
So it's still there. And that's a challenge for me. There's a lot of dudes on this show that know what they're talking about. And
but isn't that good though?
It is great to have their own personalities. And I look at guys like I look at Rashawn and I say, dude, you're really talented. Like I listen to his
and
reads.
you can only tell them that once.
I know you can,
right? You can only tell them that once,
I know,
right? Because otherwise,
yeah. And I used to tell him, I said, dude, shut up and let Terrell talk. Cause when Terrell talks about football and what he's doing in the line, I mean, like he knows what he's talking about, and to have that type of insight. And I'm just singling a couple of guys out because Jay and all these guys and what they do, and then guys like Bach, I mean, what they know is amazing and what they bring to it. So I want to make sure I hold my own, if not elevate my play. And I just think for the form and the format for us to talk about things that we talk. And it's true talk. It's true. We have the freedom to talk about things that we have expertise on. We stay in our lane about some things, which we should. And but then we also have the freedom to really speak our mind and be true. And I love the affiliation with the university of Nebraska-Lincoln. I look as if we support them 100%, and it goes both ways. And so I like all those dynamics. And so it works for me, and I'm going to do this as long as I physically can and as long as you want me here. And it's been fun. And what a way to go out this year. It's just been great. The Huskers, 7-6, both. I told my wife, I said, those kids are experiencing something that they haven't experienced. So I'm happy for them. Was it the Orange Bowl or whatever, or Sugar Bowl or Fiesta Bowl? No, it was not. But you know what? You got to start somewhere. I hate to use the word start, but they're building.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of good things that they can look forward to 2025. I'm excited for it, see what's going to bring. And we're going to talk about it.
I hope that the young quarterbacks at the University of Nebraska take the opportunity to reach out to you. I hope that the quarterback's coach, the receivers coach, that they would reach out to you. I would hope that they reach out to Jay, to Adam, to Farley, to VJ, to the full range, to Chancellor, to Strick, right? Because there's so much knowledge. And when I say knowledge, you know what it's like to be an All-American. Think about that. Out of all the people who have ever played at the University of Nebraska, there's less than a handful who can say they know what it takes to be an All-American quarterback. Right. Like,
it's funny you talk about that because I was having, and I'm 58 years old and I've done some good things and whatnot. But the older you get, you really start to realize what your career was. I fell short with some things, but I've done some great things. But it put things in perspective with me. And I've always appreciated it. But I was talking with a guy, he was a golfer, and he wants to play professional golf. He's a young kid. And he was saying, I beat your butt in golf. I do this and that. And my friend was like laughing, like, do you know who you're talking to? And I said, hey, bud, I said, how many golfers do you think are playing, collegiate golf? And he said, I don't know, 300 or whatever the number was. I said, really? I said, well, imagine having 300 some golfers and you being in the top 5. I said, that's where I was. All the collegiate sports, collegiate guys, a couple of All-American selection teams thought I was good enough to be the best of 300 something schools or whatever it is, right? And you're talking Troy Aikman, Steve. I mean, you're talking about some pretty heavy hitters, right?
You were at the top of the list.
I was considered in the top 5.
Yeah.
I made it 2 or 3 All-American teams, first team, not second team, not first team, right? So you really start to put that in perspective, and you appreciate that, right?
That's why we applaud you, bro.
And I feel good about what I've done. I can say I was drafted in the NFL. I mean, guys can say that. After I signed a professional contract, 4-year deal with the CFL, I was their number 1 choice. I was drafted by the Yankees. And it starts to hit me like, wow, I was like, but you kind of forget those things. I'm not patting myself on the back, but it is what it is.
You
and we
have
play
knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's the thing of what it's one thing to have opinion. It's another thing to know what it takes.
Yes.
And you know what it is, bro. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Keep it going. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to 2025.
Let's get it, baby.
There we go. That wrapped it up for weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor for the year. But coming up, the last locker room edition for the year of 2024. Coming up next with Chancellor Bruin.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays,